Tonight on Lowdown, we take a trip to the library to learn about a recent change to the Success Center.
You'll also get a behind-the-scenes look at KMOS TV and the students who work here.
And we'll stop by the Missouri Veterans Home to talk about a local veteran who received the French Legion of Honor Medal.
All this and more, coming up next.
Hello, welcome back to Lowdown, a show by the students of the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. I'm Rick Fahler.
And I'm Ranjanae Hill. Thanks for joining us this evening as we continue to dive into all the cool things happening here at UCM.
Speaking of, Central Missouri's Thrive program has been named the recipient of the 2015 Missouri Governor's Council on Disability Inclusion Award.
And the Success Center recently went through a renovation and name change, allowing students to access even more resources. Ben Van Maley and Natalie DiTilio stopped by to learn more about these wonderful programs.
And then you would just save that.
UCM's Thrive program is a program that helps people with disabilities to be integrated into a higher education environment.
Thrive program is a post-secondary program for students with intellectual and cognitive disabilities, developmental disabilities also. So that means that we have students with Down syndrome, we have students on the autism spectrum, and we have things in between.
It's transformation, health, responsibility, independence, vocation, and education. And all 6 strands of that really embodies the entire Thrive program, hence the acronym.
So these are students who probably wouldn't have the opportunity to have a college experience, but by having this program, they're able to come to campus, they're able to go to classes, they live in the dorm. We have all kinds of support for them so they can be successful as they are doing their homework or attending classes or with day-to-day situations.
Thrive will be awarded the 2015 Missouri Governor's Council on Disability Inclusion Award.
It's the Governor's Inclusion Award, and it's for the inclusion that we represent here on the University of Central Missouri campus with our students integrating and included in with the rest of the campus and the typical students. So just showing that we're not just a program that's off in one little corner of the university that serves our students, but it's part of a bigger idea.
The fact that we receive it is because everyone on campus is working with our students in different capacities, whether they're instructors, whether they're new friends that our students have made, but we are a program that has been very welcomed by our campus.
So those 3 areas.
The Thrive program will receive the award on April 19th in St. Charles.
This one here.
It's awesome. I'm very, very proud to work here and to be part of this program, and to be recognized for it is always nice.
It's a nice honor, it really is, because I feel that our program has worked hard and has grown in these 6 years, and so therefore each year things just get better and better, and I feel like it's a nice honor.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Ben Van Maley.
Students at the University of Central Missouri have many resources to help them with their studies. The Learning Commons, which used to be known as the Student Success Center, is one of them.
So Learning Commons is a collaborative space where students can come to study. They can get some academic support just in time, so at the time that they actually need it, maybe they're coming to study for a test. It's a great place to come and collaborate with their peers. They can attend a supplemental instruction section, which will go into a few more details from one of the general education courses that they're enrolled in. And really they can interact with our office staff and really make sure that they have all their needs met to be successful at the university.
The Learning Commons is located on the 3rd floor of the James C. Kirkpatrick Library. Not only are there computers and printers for students to use, a lot of other help is offered.
So we offer quite a few services here in the Learning Commons, and so primarily right now we have course-based tutoring. So we currently offer tutoring for over 70 courses, a lot of them general education courses that a lot of students have to take. We have tutoring in courses from everything from accounting to macroeconomics to biology, anatomy, math, anything you can think of, we probably have it. We offer supplemental instruction sessions, and so those are again some expanded offerings after the class is ended, where students can work with a peer and learn some study techniques to be successful in the class. We're developing a test prep center so students can come in and start to work on some tests that they're studying for, maybe just for a class that they're in, or even for a professional exam like the GRE or LSAT.
The tutors at the Learning Commons know the subjects they are teaching and want to help students learn.
Any student, regardless of what subject they're in or what level they have, like especially with math, because we have a variety of tutors who range anywhere from college algebra all the way up through Calc 3. My favorite part about being a tutor is probably that moment when the student finally gets a problem and like you can just see that joy in their face. I really love that.
At the beginning of the new year, the Learning Commons changed their name from the Student Success Center. Along with that change, more resources are being added.
So we changed the name from the Student Success Center to the Learning Commons really as a rebranding to let students and the campus community know that we were heading in a new direction, that we're going to have some expanded offerings. Our writing center is moving over in the fall as well. So we're really going to re-envision what this space can and should be.
For Lowdown, I'm Natalie DiTilio.
Now you have a cool new renovated space where you can go if you have trouble with your schoolwork.
And how great to see the Thrive program jumping to new heights. Now let's take a look at another great group here on campus, Live, a group for ladies looking to network, have fun, build confidence and friendships along the way.
We'll also stop by the Black Box Theater and talk about their one-act productions. And I'll take you behind the scenes here at KMOS TV. Check it out. There are over 200 student organizations at the University of Central Missouri, including sports teams and Greek organizations. There is one unique group that many people may not be familiar with, Live.
Well, LIVE stands for Ladies Inspiring Versatility. The purpose of LIVE is just to build girls' self-esteem. Sometimes it's hard when you go to college, especially if you don't know anyone.
It's an empowerment social group for women. It's a really great time to get to know people and know other women better on campus.
We're just here to be your support system and have someone to fall back on and to just get friends and be happy at college and have a fulfilling college career.
With over 50 dedicated members, new arrivals are always welcome to join their weekly meetings.
Every Tuesday we get together, we have an hour meeting, we play games, self-empowerment activities. We get to know each other.
And we try and divide them and break them apart from their typical friend groups so they get to know more people. And it's just different random games. Like today we played Jeopardy. I know next week we're gonna do cards for the Veterans Home. We've done speed dating before.
We have a lot of fun. We sometimes maybe get a little competitive in our games, but it also helps us get to know each other. Like tonight we split it up into our departments, so we got to know everybody that we kind of have classes with and maybe can get help in school.
Live always looks for new ways to have fun and create group bonding experiences.
Other events that we do consist of a float trip at the beginning of the fall. It's so much fun. We get to drive out to a long float and we spend about 2 days out there. Great time on the river. And then we also do a formal in the spring, which we can bring almost anybody to. So it's not just Live members, you get to bring in other people from Greek life or other clubs on campus.
Live strives to always maintain their warm, accepting atmosphere.
It's just all about like being yourself and getting to know who you really are, and everyone's so accepting, and it's just really nice to be around such like open people.
It's just nice to get to know other girls and make a lot of friends and know that there's a support system that if I ever have a problem, I can text someone or message someone and they'll be there for me.
Like, as soon as you come in here, you could be having the worst day and you come in here and you see their faces and it makes your day.
Yeah.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Rick Fahler.
On February 4th, 5th, and 6th, Nickerson's Hall's Black Box Theater hosted the Studio One Acts. Each one act would be directed, technically directed, and produced, as well as acted, all by students. Student producer Sarah Clifton shed light on what her one act was about.
My show is about a woman walks through the park and she's assaulted, and now she's dreaming of someone interrogating her and cross-examining her and turning all of her words against who she is and like what she did and making it seem like she was at fault for it.
I guess.
What?
I guess I think I'm more
So you
attractive.
color your hair to be more attractive,
Yes.
but your fingernails.
I hope that they can take away about how they reevaluate how we assess victims and how we as a society have an effect on what happens to people.
Someday we three should have a good old get-together celebration. Why not right now?
The turnover for production was unlike most theater prep. Patrick Neal Bearden, producer for A Mask of Reason, communicated the difficulties he faced with the time constraints.
The production process was a little crazy because of KCACTF, which is our theater conference up in Minnesota. I had to miss a week of rehearsals, which only cut our process time down by a week. So I only had 2.5 weeks, including Tech Week, which was this week, to get my actors memorized and blocked.
And then all of a sudden, she was kidnapped by a group of angry cannibals, and they put her in a pot of...
While timing was difficult, it offered a new and exciting challenge for directors like Krista Fleming.
How short it was, first of all, but that also gives it a whole new side, you have to work under that pressure. But I would have to say probably getting full character development out of all of the actors and exploring as much as we could have explored with the amount of time that we were allotted.
God, career? What career?
Fleming's hope was that the audience would leave with the play's resonating message in mind.
Well, the quote that we have in our program and the quote that's said in the play is, "The perfect ones are always fake." And so I'm hoping that people realize that just because it's not exactly how you dreamt it would be when you were younger, that you will go forth and still appreciate what you've gotten to do and see who it's made you become. So I'm hoping that people are able to realize that.
If you missed this installment of the One Acts, they will be back starting April 22nd. Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Adrienne Columbus.
Our KMOS station has been located on campus at the University of Central Missouri since 1979. Since then, KMOS has put a strong emphasis on integrating students into the system, which is exactly why they created a new practicum class to help the students transition.
It was apparent to me that we had a lot of students working at KMOS, but they didn't really know each other. So after sort of looking at the situation here at KMOS, I thought, well, I think we can do a little bit better on our part in terms of training students and preparing them for working here at KMOS. So it gives students a chance to sort of see everything in terms of the operations of a television station.
KMOS is extremely convenient and also provides much-needed job experience for students entering the workforce.
This is a real over-the-air television station, 38 counties, 1 million viewers, covers almost all of mid-Missouri, and that's really where UCM students have the opportunity to stand out. If they get involved with KMOS, it gives them the chance then to have that real-world experience. Most of the time, those entry-level jobs, they're looking for a year or two of experience. Here at UCM, you get the good education, and then you can also get the practical experience.
Along with professional job experience, KMOS also provides a healthy work environment and friendly atmosphere.
The environment of KMOS is almost like walking into your best friend's house, and I just immediately felt welcomed into what KMOS was. And over the past, semester, I've gained a lot of friends here.
This is a really good opportunity for me to become well-rounded in the industry of digital media. Starting here at KMOS will really help me start a resume, also get experience working in a professional environment. And
all positive production begins with feeling comfortable with those around you.
I would say my favorite thing, hands down, about KMOS is experiencing the people that KMOS has within its walls.
For me, as always, my favorite part is working with the students. You just have this constant influx of people who have new ideas. Students always have a lot of enthusiasm. They try really hard. It's just having that enthusiasm around. It's a really good, infectious thing for any company.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Rick Fahler.
Look at you, Rick.
What a great way for young women to network here on campus.
I hope you enjoy that behind-the-scenes look at KMOS TV. But let's switch gears now from broadcast to print and talk about a writer series that was recently held here at UCM.
We also got the chance to sit down with the student responsible for the Mule Skinner's fashion column and talk about her process.
Trudy Lewis and Michael Chisniowski are two authors who visited UCM's campus for the Pleiades and Honors College Writers Series. Both Lewis and Chisniowski gave a short reading of their books, along with a description of what their book is about.
The book I read today is about roller derby, which is a little bit misleading because only about half of it is about the roller derby and the other half is about the park, Karst Park, where the protagonist is a park ranger. And really it's about space. It's about public space and it's about territory. Part of it is about the war. Part of it is about the economic recession of 2008. So there's a large cast of characters and there are a few settings, but I think that a lot of the theme is just what will you do to protect yourself? How aggressive does a person have to be? What's the role of violence? And how can you stand up for yourself without becoming really a bully?
Michael Chisniowski's book is full of short stories based on something a lot of people can relate to.
This current book is called I Will Love You for the Rest of My Life, Breakup Stories, and they are breakup stories. They are 29 tales of love gone awry. I think everybody goes through it. Somebody asked a question tonight about do you recommend people going through stuff like this and breaking up? And it's like, yes, it's horrible, but you don't want to marry and stay with your first boyfriend or girlfriend for the rest of your life. So I think everybody goes through this, and out of 29 stories, hopefully somebody recognizes something.
Both of these authors have written unique stories, but how do they come up with the ideas?
I just walk around all day looking at things, and I think one thing that being a writer does is it causes you to pay closer attention to your world. And I think that's the value for anyone, but I'm happy because I'm a person who would just stay in a little bubble if I weren't a writer, and being a writer makes me want to look around.
I think I just walk around and pay attention and think of things, and this sounds like almost rudimentary or even kind of dumb, but I just think a lot, and things pop into my head, and I can take something really simple and turn it into something a lot more complicated or pontificate on it or something like that.
To some, writing a book seems like a long and difficult process. And while it may be, Lewis and Chisniowski have some advice.
I would say read everything you can possibly read and write. I mean, there's this idea of a writer and being a writer and dressing like a writer, which is all cool, but I think the main thing is to practice, to develop a practice. And I think it's important to have a time when you write, if it's every week or if it's every day, but just kind of a devoted practice.
Read and write as much as you can. That's the only way that you become a writer, is to write. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Don't get distracted by things like what school you should go to or how often you should write or what kind of paper and pen you're going to write with. Just sit down and write and do that, and that's how you become a writer.
For Lowdown, I'm Natalie DiTilio.
Shelby Burke has been writing for some time now. She began her writing career early, since about her sophomore year of high school. That eventually led her to being a fashion columnist for UCM's Mule Skinner.
So I'm their weekly fashion columnist. And so I find topics every week about fashion that I think is interesting or helpful for college-age students, and I write about it. Like I've done things about where to drop off coats for homeless or people who need them. So I do a lot about college-age girls, but I also try to relate it to the entire college campus.
Aside from being a fashion advocate, she had the chance of a lifetime to write for the Huffington Post.
I did have an article published in the Huffington Post, and it was about my coming out story. So I came out to my family as gay last March it was, and so I had the opportunity to write about that to kind of help other people who may be struggling to come out. So I thought my story would kind of give them that extra push that they need, or like confidence that they needed to come out for themselves.
Her friend Natalie expresses her appreciation for Shelby.
Her article in the Huffington Post, I was really, really proud that she wrote that because it was really big for her, and it was a big step for her in her coming out process. I think it was good for, if a kid who reads that, you know, and they're like, oh, this woman came out and she's really tough and she's really brave and she's really, you know, she's just an overall good person about everything she's been through, then that might inspire them to, you know, be better people or treat people with better respect.
She believes she is more well-rounded being able to write for such a huge media platform.
Well, I think it really helped me a lot to go from just writing from a small publication to something a lot bigger. So I was able to really hone in on a lot of my skills. And then I'm now able to use those in the mule skinner now as well.
I'm Brianna Blocker, reporting for Lowdown.
Hey there, kids. Look who it is, our favorite knucklehead Tim. Well, he's at it again. He is trying to unlock his car with his fob, but he is out of range. In a sad attempt to increase his range, he is pointing his fob at his car. What he should do is point the fob into his chin. Doing this will cause his head to boost the signal and increase the range, effectively allowing him to start his car from a greater distance. Make sure to tune in next time to see what Tim will do wrong next.
For our last two stories, we're going off campus to the local library in the Warrensburg, Missouri Veterans Home.
That's right. The National Student Speech Language Hearing Association here on campus sponsored an event at the Trails Regional Library where students could come, hear a story, and eat some snacks, all with a Valentine's Day theme.
And a local veteran received the French Legion of Honor Medal from the French Consulate out of Chicago on January 29th. Take a look.
When daily routines involve more and more screen time, some parents find their children falling behind in reading. Nishla and the Trails Regional Library are doing their part by offering Stories and Slices, an event where children do crafts, eat food, and most importantly, read and take home books.
This event is really important to me because with the books that the kids get to take home, they're bringing language and literacy into the home, which is a super big part of what we learn in school, is to make sure that every kid has a book and they get that literacy aspect as well as like the language and the vocab from the books. So having the books in the home are really important.
It's important for the kids to get excited about reading. My son has always loved reading, so that's not a problem, but it's a fun time to socialize and work on crafts and eat pizza and have fun. Especially in the winter, you can get out of the house and interact with others.
Stories and Slices has been meeting 5 times a year for the last 3 years. The theme of the event usually coincides with the nearest holiday. This past Saturday, students created Valentine's Day crafts and listened to 1 Zillion Valentines by Frank Morrell.
My favorite part of Saturday Stories and Slices is seeing the kids' feedback when I read the books to them, or when they get to pick out a book. They kind of get to express themselves and find which is their favorite, and we usually try to bring a wide variety so that they are able to get their favorite book and bring it home with them.
But it's very important that they still have, the book, the actual book, where they can turn the pages and they can read on their own and then review the book, look at the pictures, retell the story. So there's so much learning of literacy that is involved with utilizing those books.
Well, reading comprehension is really important for school. Some of my favorite memories as a kid were coming to the library with my mom, so I want him to have the same opportunity. And he loves books, so we read all day.
Keep your eye out for Stories and Slices events on the Trails Regional Library website. Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Bryce Jones.
I read books in bed.
Yeah, before bedtime? What are your favorite kind of stories to hear?
The Book of Narnia.
On Friday, January 29th, family, friends, and members of the community crowded the Veterans Home Chapel to honor World War II veteran King Henry Robertson Sr. The veteran would be awarded for his courageous services during the battle. While roughly 200 people showed up to bear witness to Robertson Sr.'s honor, the day would not have been possible without the hard work and dedication of Michael Kutchko.
I did some internet searching a long time ago and found out that Mr. Robertson, as a World War II veteran from the invasion of Normandy, was entitled to receive the French Legion of Honor Medal. And as a result of that, I went ahead and got the application in, and I turned it in to his social worker. But she got tied up doing things and just gave it back to me, so I ran with it. And for the last 10 months, culminated in today's making the presentation to him.
Receiving the honor is an accomplishment within itself, but the warm words of the French consulate were the icing on the cake.
On behalf of the French government and of the French people, I
I would like to thank all the veterans. Your engagement is an example, an obligation for us and for future generations. There can be no future without memory. The torch you carried so high and so far, the torch of freedom, of dignity and respect for mankind, of justice and democracy, still lights our way.
Michael Kuchko's job was no easy feat, but he set out to accomplish this task for his good friend Robertson.
I'm just a real good friend. I've been an ombudsman here for about 4.5 years now, but I've been a volunteer here for 7.5 years. And I met King just as a passing one day and developed a strong rapport with him. I meet with King every single week. King and I just have a real good time.
Seeing his hard work come to life was definitely a humbling experience for Mr. Kuchko.
The latter part was very emotional for me. I'm very, very happy for him.
The day was spent recognizing King Henry Robertson Sr., but it was easy to see that the day's unsung hero was Michael Kuchko. Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Adrienne Columbus.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here for tonight. But don't worry, the show in its entirety and the individual segments can be found on the KMOS TV YouTube page.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Ranjanae Hill.
And I'm Rick Thaler.
Good night.
Oh, all of a sudden nervous.
What the heck? We didn't even say. You're like, okay. I wasn't expecting that. You should have practiced that or something. So I could have been perfect. You're like,
you know.
Okay.